Good morning, everyone, or actually good afternoon now. Welcome to the CVMSDC Virtual Capabilities Briefing. Today we are focusing on managing your virtual image with Cheryl Tan of Cheryl Tan Media. I'm your host and moderator, BK Fields, and we have an informative session, as always, planned for you today. We're hoping and hopeful that you continue to be safe and healthy, and we thank you for joining us this afternoon. A few housekeeping tips. All of our audience participant lines are automatically muted. However, you can submit a question using the chat or the question box feature in your GoToWebinar dashboard on the screen. Also, today's session is being recorded and it will be available for you to review later and to share with your colleagues. Now, I am pleased to introduce our CVMSDC President and CEO, Dominique Milton, to open up today's session. Dominique?
Thank you so much, Valerie. And thank you so much, Valerie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to our second virtual capability briefing, where we bring to you MBEs to share their capability statement live. And today I'm excited to have Cheryl Tan with us, who is the MBE owner of Cheryl Tan Media. As always, before we get started with the content, I like to go over our mission and our core values. And so the mission of CVMSDC is to expand business opportunities for minority business enterprises, MBEs, and create mutually beneficial links between our corporate partners and MBEs. The ultimate outcome is to add economic value to the supply chain while increasing economic opportunities in the business community. And we accomplish this with 4 pillars of work. The 4 pillars of work, next slide, Valerie, are certification. We're the largest certifying agency in the United States to certify ethnic minority businesses. We also develop our MBEs to make sure that you are continually growing your businesses. We have different educational programs that we put our MBEs through. We also often offer very strong connecting opportunities. We have about 4 connecting opportunities per year. And this year we've gone virtual with all of our events. We have a major event coming up June 25th. And you can follow all of our events at CVMSDC.org. Check out our calendar and register for each of the events that we have available for you to connect with our corporate partners. And finally, we advocate for you. With over 12,000 members nationwide, we can advocate for you on a national, regional, and local level. Just as an example, if you haven't had your PPP funding come through yet, we have PPP funding that we are supporting through NMSDC. You can visit our website to learn more about that or inbox me. But all things advocating, we can advocate for you to make sure that you're getting what you need on a regional, national, and local level. Okay, so without further ado, as we have pivoted to a virtual world, everybody is scrambling to try and figure out, how do I appear on camera? What is my image? How do I project myself virtually? And I'm sure many of you have been on webinars where the sky is the limit. You got some people who are sitting on their couch, some people who are sitting in dark rooms, backgrounds are varied. And so I thought it was important to bring to you an expert, Cheryl Tan, who has been a TV host, and then she started a consulting firm, and she's helped me personally. I'm not doing all the things that she's told me to do, but she helps you position your camera. She helps you figure out where you should be sitting in the room in terms of lighting. She helps you with how you get your point across. So I thought it was very important at this time to hear from her and the services that she has to offer. So we're having a little technical difficulty today. I always like for you to be able to see our presenters, but as with everything, sometimes you have some technical difficulty. So this morning, you can't see Cheryl, but she is right here, enthusiastic and ready to share with you her pointers and share how you can get in contact with her. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Cheryl to share your presentation. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Dominique, thank you so very much. There's so much irony, right, in the fact that I cannot be seen, but you look lovely and you are presenting the message of CVMSDC so well. So thank you very much. And I also want to say thank you for the work you've been doing since the beginning of this pandemic. You all have been on point, sharing emails and videos and sharing your thought leadership in a time when we need it. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Cheryl.
What you're seeing right now is what I truly believe. I've been on camera, although I'm not on camera right this very moment, but I've been on camera for many, many years. And I truly believe that great video creators aren't born, they are made. And as we've learned over the last few months, your voice is more important than ever, and it's important to share your voice. And today, it may be much easier to do that virtually than in person. As things are starting to open up, it's hard to say how comfortable people will feel to share their message in person. So being able to do that virtually is highly, highly important. If we can go to the next slide, I can share more information about why video is so important. And even though you can't see me, I'm all set up. I've got lights, I've got makeup on. I have a color that I love that I'm wearing, and I would be ready to go on camera. And the reason that's important is because creating that relationship through video closes business. So as you're watching this, as you're listening to this, I'd just love for you to think about, for your own companies or your own organizations, where you are on the spectrum, where you are in terms of being able to share your message on video. Now, it doesn't have to be like a YouTube channel. It can be, but maybe it's just as simple as using a free tool called Use Loom and sharing a quick video message to one person. Maybe it's a buyer, maybe it's your boss, maybe it is a client that you want to develop a relationship with, but you just getting on useloom.com, which is it's a little extension on your Chrome tab that allows you to share a video very quickly and then send a link. 2 clicks. So how comfortable are you using video right now? And it's important because it converts. This is actually a survey done before the pandemic. So video on a landing page capable of increasing conversion rates by over 80%. We're businesses, so we have to look at whether the effort that we're making in creating the videos, if it makes a difference. So again, this is before the pandemic. I'm almost positive that these numbers have gone up. The mere mention of the word video in your email subject line, so if you're creating emails that you send out to your constituents, to your customers, to your partners, it increases open rates by 19%. And 90% of customers, and again, I think today it would be higher, 90% of customers say videos help them make buying decisions. How many things have we bought off of Instagram because we saw a video, right? So things have changed, and the reason video is powerful is it creates a connection. So we can go to the next slide if we could. Thank you so much. And what it does is it creates connection points. So let me know if you want to, or if you're even thinking, how many Zoom calls have you been on? Like in the last 2 months, probably 4 a day, right? It feels like there are so many Zoom calls that you're on. And these are students in one of my programs, and they're happy. I know they're happy to be there, but they're happy to be there. Sometimes when you're on calls where people are not so happy, you can tell, and that can impact how you feel as a customer, as maybe a client, as the boss. And so how you show up on video is how you can show up in person. And right now that could be synonymous depending on how you feel about travel and being in person with someone right now. Video calls equals relationships equal connection. So next slide. I just want to give you a little bit of background about myself, and Dominique shared with you, is I have a background in television news. I was in TV before I had any business being in TV. It was right after college, and I really should not have been there. I didn't look the part, I didn't speak the part, at least I didn't feel like that. But over time, I've learned. And I started my consulting company 6 years ago, and I'm really passionate about helping entrepreneurs and experts show up better on camera. Over my time in TV news, I've interviewed thousands of people, and that's one of the things that I really enjoyed, is helping people get their message more clearly and effectively shared on camera. with the people who need to hear them. So I've been able to share the skills I learned in the newsroom with businesses, with entrepreneurs, with experts around the country. And it really has been my honor to do that. Let's go to the next slide and share with you why it's so important to use this skill, to take it and master video in a way that serves your business. Maybe serve a division of your company, to be the spokesperson in your organization, so that people can meet you before they agree to see you in person. Especially now, more than ever, people are Googling you. They're finding you on LinkedIn. And if they have a video they can watch of you before they pick up the phone or decide to drive out to your location, this is a great way to cut that learning curve, if you will. I meet a lot of experts who are so comfortable speaking to a crowd of 1,000 people, no problem. But then when they know there's a camera in the audience, or there's a camera person there, or that it could be seen on video at some time in the future, this stops them. And that's why it's important to have both of those skills, so you can just be a double threat, if you will, so that you can leverage the power of one-to-many. I know in your organizations, you get questions from your clients, from your customer base, and there may be the same questions over and over again. You create one video and you can save your team quite a bit of time, because then you send that video to those people who are asking that same question over and over again. And if they have follow-up questions, that's when your live team is there to answer. And this last part is really important because it ties into opportunity. And a lot of times, if people know there's a camera on the other end of an interview, sometimes they say no. And I hate the idea of having to bypass an opportunity because of fear. Next slide, please. Thank you. Where people get stuck is 5 places. Is equipment. They can't figure out what the right equipment is. There's a lot to buy, when in reality, there's not. They get stuck on messaging, on what to say. They get really stopped on how to create video, because your job is not to create video all day long. It's to create video once in a system and be able to use it effectively over time. So they get stuck on the creation process, then they get stuck on the publishing process, and then finally they get stuck on the promotion process. So here is my solution. I have a 5-step process that I work my clients through, where we talk about preparation, your audio, your video, your lighting, positioning, your goal, your message, the funnel that you have that your video takes people through, your process. I call it batching. So it's figuring out a day, a month where you shoot all of your videos, but then you're publishing them over a period of time in the course of that month, of course, then promoting the videos properly, promoting more than you actually create. It's what I call the no-fail video formula. And this is how I work with clients and customers to help them use video more effectively. One of the things that people always say to me is, I'm scared, I don't know where to start. And this is the formula that I give people, because it gives them stepping stones to feel comfortable, because this is the stuff they can control. They can control the equipment, they can control their messaging, they can control the process, the publishing, and the promotion of the pieces of video they create. And so that's how we overcome fear. And then from there, they actually create the videos and publish. Next slide, please. So the clients that I work with are my pride and joy. I love working with people like Kimberly Adams Tufts. She goes by Kat, so I see her name and it stops me, but she goes by Kat. She's a professor, she's a nurse practitioner, and she's one of the folks who travels around the country speaking. And it always surprises me when people who are so well spoken don't embrace video. And until she took my program, she admittedly has said to me she was not. So people would ask her, hey, I need you to create this video. I would love for you to be a contributor to this course, and it's on video. And she would say no, until she took this program that I have created, and now you can't stop her. So she creates videos and is ready to continue to launch videos to help her clients who are in the health and wellness field. Next story, please. I also work with companies and their marketing managers to help them create videos on a more consistent basis. So Joy works with an office furniture outlet. She's the manager of a local company here that has products in her showroom. They're refurbished pieces of furniture for your office. And she simply wanted to create videos that highlight the things that her company makes, the pieces of furniture, and it was one of the stopping points. The creation, the batching, the producing. It kept her and her company from creating the videos because there was just that barrier of starting, figuring out how to use your voice, figuring out how to use the tools, and how to create that process and the production level to create the videos that you want. So I'm happy to say that she's also leaps and bounds, creating her YouTube channel for the company and creating videos that are short, sweet, and really let customers and clients know how the refurbished furniture they create can make a difference for your office space. Next story. And then I also work with people to create thought leadership. So people like Scott, they have a message to share. They support clients. They want to create this thought leadership through video. And once you do that on a consistent basis, you can Google him and find his videos and see what he thinks about clients and how he works with them. And you know automatically where you want to work with him with, if it's someone you want to work with. And for your companies, it's important now more than ever to be able to share what your mission is and how people can work with you so they can decide, first and foremost, that they want to reach out and give you a call, meet with you, buy your products, work with you, because they've already seen how you think of things through video, through posts, through things on your website. Next slide. So there are several ways that we love to work with clients. One, we can have strategy sessions with your teams, trying to figure out how video plays a role in your company. I think that when you take a look at social media today, it just seems like people pick up their phone and start saying anything that comes to mind, and then they post it. And I think in some cases that's really what does happen. But for a company, there needs to be a little more strategy to that, and seeing what that message is, how it positions you in the right place, and how you can use video to elevate that message. So I really love working with teams to help them figure that out, that strategy for the video in their organizations. I do media trainings. So there are organizations that I work with that they know the media will come calling. They know that already, and what they need is their leaders, their up and coming leaders, to be ready for the questions that come their way. So if it makes sense, I can bring a team in, and we, like in this picture you see right here, we get you on camera answering questions that the media might be asking. And then we review the tapes. We review what comes from those, quote, interviews, and see where you can work, what you can work on, and how you can do better, and how you can share the stories of your company in a more effective way. And the last way I work with companies and executives is something new I've put together. It's an online program. It's called the Master Video Today Membership Community with quarterly boot camps. And what I do is 4 times a year, I hold intense 4-week sessions where we get you from 0 to video in under a month. And I have quarterly options as well as yearly options for you to bring in your executives, bring in members of your team to train them on how to use video using my 5 steps, helping you to prepare, helping you to position, to process, publish, and promote your videos in a way that serves the business that you're in. Next slide, please. And before we go, I just wanted to share some quick training, because I can't leave without letting you know some of the things that are so critical if you're going to show up on camera today. Chances are you have a Zoom call after this. You probably have a call with a client coming up. And if you're thinking, I'm going to do it on the phone, I'd rather not do it on Zoom, just consider some of these things to help you stand out on camera and close business. And I know it sounds simple. I know it sounds simple, but I do videos all the time. I create video all the time with companies, and I do sessions and segments for a local TV station. And these tips will help you look better and elevate yourself on camera. So number one is to smile. Number two is to make sure that you are framed properly in the screen. Can you see Dominique right there? She looks fantastic. Her shoulders and her head are in the screen with not too much headroom, but not too little. She's looking in the right place right now, and that means finding the camera. So I know that sounds very basic, but just if the next time you're doing a Zoom call, you hear me say, where are you looking? Find the camera. Find where the camera is and look into it, because even though you want to look somewhere else, like you want to look anywhere but the camera, looking in the camera means that you're actually looking into your audience's eyes. This fourth point is a point that I talk about with so many people, is please raise your camera to a level slightly above eye level. So right now, I know you can't see me, but I've got a shoebox and 4 books under my laptop so that I am looking up. And Dominique, I don't know what you've got underneath your laptop, but
same thing.
Shoebox and 5 books, right? So keep it there and look up, because that will make sure that your audience, your person, whoever you're talking to on the other side, is not looking up your nose. So a little higher than eye level. And then this last point could change the way you look at video 100%, is to increase your energy. And if you, this is a telltale sign. If people say to you, oh, you're so laid back, this is a telltale sign that if you're going to go on camera, to increase your energy to a level that feels uncomfortable, because that way you actually will feel just fine to the person on the other side. You don't want to appear bored, especially if you're trying to close a client, you want to get a contract signed. The last thing you want to do is appear as if you don't care. So increase that energy to a point where you feel almost uncomfortable, but happy to be there because you're smiling at the same time. And then the last thing I just wanted to share with you on that last slide is my contact information. If I can help you in any way to help you present better, to feel more comfortable on camera, I'm happy to answer any questions and talk with you. My email is right there, cheryl@cheryltanmedia.com.
Outstanding, Cheryl. Thank you for those tips, and thank you for the tips you've given me thus far. It's really helped me to get to this point. I see that I have a long way to go, and I'm going to be joining one of your boot camps. So thank you so much for the tips that you've shared with us. Just turning your camera, as you said, sitting on this other side of the room with the window behind you, just small things make a huge difference. So VK, are there any questions from our audience?
I will remind the audience that you are welcome to submit a question using the questions feature on your GoToWebinar dashboard. And we did, throughout the presentation, have a couple of questions come in. So I'll go ahead and present those to Cheryl while others send in their questions using the chat or the questions feature. The first question for Cheryl is, what basic camera equipment should we start with to follow your 5-step formula?
Okay, I love this question because everyone's mind goes to the $1,000 DSLR they saw on Amazon. But chances are the iPhone or the Android you have in your hand right now is just fine, or the laptop camera that is built into the laptop you have. I have worked with clients who had iPhone 6s, and if you know anything about iPhones, that's probably like 3 to 4 years old, and it was just fine. Like it could, I mean, you can always level up, but my recommendation is to start where you are. And if you want to continue to invest after a few months, we'll have another conversation. But most of the time, the equipment stops you, and that should not be the stopping point. It should be the start. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. The next question, what can I do to just become more comfortable appearing on camera?
So this is gonna sound like I'm uncaring, but I'm not. So the way to overcome your fear and to start feeling more comfortable is to do more video. And then you might be like, well, I don't want to do any more video because I want to feel So if you take my 5 steps, right, you have figured out your equipment, you know you look great, right? You know you look like Dominique, like you look great. You know your messaging. Let's say you are CVMSDC and you know the mission of your brand. You know how you're going to create your videos, you know where you're going to publish them, and you know how you'll promote them. So you know all those 5 things. Then the only thing you have to get over is hitting record. So I'm just going to tell you to hit record. I'm just going to tell you to hit record.
It takes so much practice, Cheryl. I mean, I've seen, you know, from my beginning, one of my mantras is you have to do something outside of your comfort zone every day to grow, right? And so I've seen, you know, over time how much more comfortable I've become. And if you look at our NMSDC videos, when we started in this COVID crisis, you know, we're the first program we had to where we are now, you know, the whole NMSDC has grown. And so all my peers are growing. So like you said, practice takes practice. What about standing up? I love to stand up when I'm doing a session, and
yeah,
you haven't mentioned that.
I love standing up because it forces you to increase your energy.
Yes.
The problem with standing, and I'll tell you what the problem with standing is. So I mean, I like to sit too because I think I'm a little lazy. Standing is good, but I can't have you move. So
Okay.
if you are able to stand up and not move, because you know if you're standing, you move around. Not you, but like most people have nervous tics and they're like swaying or moving, and it's a lot more difficult to do that when you're sitting. So standing I'm okay with, as long as you are aware that you cannot move. Like you have to be like stuck in place. But
Gotcha.
But energy wise, it's great. And so to answer, and to respond to your point about the videos you created, the power of what you did though is, even though maybe you didn't feel 1,000% comfortable the first times you did your videos, you actually published them feeling maybe not 100% comfortable. And I don't want to speak for you, but let's say but the thing is you published them. Because you published them, you actually are now in such a better place because you're more comfortable since you published them. The publishing part makes you better. The publishing part is also very scary. People to this day send me videos of when I was on TV like 15 years ago, and that's not so fun. But at the same time, I think I'm better now. And I think we all get better as we continue to do this work.
Yeah, you can even look back at some of Oprah's videos and see the progression, and you're like, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Valerie, any other questions?
Dominique, that was the last one. We're within 1 minute of wrapping up our session, so we'll ask you to provide your closing comments before we wrap up.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for coordinating everything. Cheryl, thank you for being with us today. And to our listeners, thank you all for taking the time to listen in today. You know, our goal is to make sure that we can showcase our MBEs. And if you're interested in being showcased on the virtual capabilities briefing, please reach out to us. Debbie.pettigrew@cvmsdc.org can put you in queue to be featured on one of our shows. Again, please visit cvmsdc.org and check out our calendar and sign up for each of our events. We have 3 different webinar series. We have a straight talk series where we're talking to procurement professionals so that you can learn how to do business with them. We have our lunch and learn series that I host once a month, and then we have this virtual capabilities briefing. But there are other events that we have going on throughout the month. We have our ring meetings that you can join. And finally, again, our June 25th event, which is artificial intelligence and the impact in the procurement process, is open to all supply chain professionals and procurement professionals. So please join us there. Again, in December, we will be hosting an event called Future Proofing Your Business. I look forward to each of you joining us there, and more information will be forthcoming on our website. Thank you all so much for joining us. VCB is this program, and we have enjoyed hosting today Ms. Cheryl Tan from Cheryl Tan Media. Thank you so much.
All right, that wraps up our session for today. Thank you, Dominique Milton and Cheryl Tan of Cheryl Tan Media, and all of you for joining us. Have a great day, everyone. Be well and stay safe. That concludes our session today.